A little more than 300 years ago, an Indian merchant left the bustling port of Surat, India, and set sail for the Far East via what was then referred to as the Spice Route. She had a treasure that could satisfy every desire, bag after bag filled to the brim with superbly crafted silver rupees, each carrying 1,000 pieces. Shah Aurangzeb Alamgir, 1618-1707, the sixth and final great Mughal Emperor of India, issued the edict that caused the Rs to be minted. Aurangzeb was the son of Shah Jahan, the architect of the Taj Mahal, which is considered to be the most exquisite memorial ever constructed. Shah Jahan created the Taj Mahal as a tribute to his wife Mumtaz Mahal, and Aurangzeb was his son. The merchant ship presumably made a stop at the Portuguese trading port located on the little island of Ceylon, which is now known as Sri Lanka, while it was en route to the east. However, when the ship continued its journey around the southern edge of the island, it met with an accident. Those who were in Surat waiting for her to come back never mentioned the loss to anybody else, and it is quite unlikely that Aurangzeb ever went without his rupees. A very precious lamp was taken out illegally from Sri Lanka in 1992, and it was offered for sale in the United States as the Taj Mahal treasurer to Trump Plaza for $1 million. Subsequently, it was on eBay auction for $0.7 million and on the TV show Pawn Stars, and declined for $0.2 million, but it has not yet been sold to my knowledge. The dealer who replied to Sir Arthur Clarke in 2008 and pledged to return it did not show after negotiation with the Clarke Foundation, which is situated in the United States. As a result, attempts to get this chunk returned to Lanka have been unsuccessful. In my opinion, there was not enough pressure from the official level to get it back. Since Arthur has died away, it is most likely going to be a lot more challenging. The remnants of the wreckage were found in 1961, and the treasure was recovered in 1963 by Sir Arthur C. Clarke and his dive companions on the perilous Great Basses Reef. Concreted heaps of silver rupees were found buried among the wreckage of the building. The obverse of the coin features a poetic couplet that reads, Shah Aurangzeb Alamgir, the king, throne adorner, world grasper, struck coin in the world like the bright full moon. This couplet flows across the face of the coin just below the date. The coins were minted in Surat, India, in the Hijri year AH 1113, which corresponds to the latter part of the Gregorian year 1701 and the beginning of the Gregorian year 1702, during the 45th and 46th regnal years of Emperor Aurangzeb. This information was gleaned from the further translation of the text. Before the discovery at Great Basses, it was believed that there were no additional instances of these coins in existence. The majority of people are familiar with Clarke as the father of satellite communications, who was nominated for a Nobel Prize, and as the author of 2001, A Space Odyssey, in addition to approximately 100 other publications. However, not many people are familiar with his life before 2001, A Space Odyssey. Around the year 1956, Clarke decided he had had enough of the weather in England and decided to make the tropical island of Ceylon, or Sri Lanka as it was known at the time, his new home. He was an avid scuba diver and, in addition to writing scientific papers and works of science fiction, he frequently wrote about the study of underwater environments. In 1961, his diving companion Mike Wilson, who was also an underwater photographer, was exploring Great Basses Reef with two lads from the American consulate. They were able to see the wreckage of a shipwreck when they swam over one of the giant coral heads. The pieces of the ship were dispersed around the ocean floor. Amidst the wreckage were clumps of silver rupees that had retained the form of the bags in which they had been transported previously. After 259 years, the Indian trader's destiny was ultimately revealed to be what had happened to him. Clarke had been making preparations for an archaeological salvage mission for the year 1962 when he was abruptly diagnosed with polio. By 1963, he had partially regained his movement, and the team went back to the reef to investigate further. They were successful in retrieving thousands of coins and a great number of artifacts, though not all of them. Clarke then published Treasure of the Great Reef for adults and Indian Ocean Treasure for younger readers a year later. Clarke got in touch with Mendel Peterson, the maritime curator at the Smithsonian Institution, and offered to give the institution one of the coin clusters as a donation. Our Taj Mahal sunken treasure collection has one of a kind 9 silver rupees that are only available via Cannon Beach Treasure Company. They are the last items left in our collection and are from Clarke's collection. They are also the only ones that are accessible. Each coin is packaged with a 15th anniversary edition DVD of Robert's documentary, Arthur C. Clarke, Return to the Reef, which includes approximately 2 hours of programs and behind the scenes films with interviews with Sir Arthur C. Clarke and Carl Fismer. In the year 1961, film directors Mark Smith and Bobby Kriegel were taking photographs of enormous groupers that gathered off of a gorgeous fishing community along the palm-fringed coast when they saw the silhouette of a miniature cannon in the background of one of their shots. After returning the following day, they were successful in recovering the cannon as well as several buckets of silver rupees. Smith and Kriegel contacted their friend and fellow diver, Arthur C. Clarke, an Englishman who had made the island his home for 5 years. Clarke, who later wrote 2001, A Space Odyssey, which became a famed and best-selling book, assisted them in claiming salvage rights and identifying the coins. A total of over 5,000 coins, both individual denominations and clumps of coins weighing between 25 and 30 pounds each, were located. Since the year 1702, the Arabic alphabet that was stamped on them has been translated as a mint mark. All appeared to be freshly minted and dated to the period of the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, whose father, Shah Jahan, was responsible for the construction of the Taj Mahal. The Dutch East India Company was well known for its spice route and silk trade across Europe and the Far East from 1502 until 1815. The coins may have been paid for items sold by Aurangzeb to the Dutch East India Company during that period. Clarke performed several dives on the wreck and was successful in recovering some coins, which he then brought to the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, District of Columbia, for display. When the Fizz saw them there, they got in touch with the well-known author and treasure salver to discuss the possibility of making a film documentary on them. Clarke invited the Fizz to join him in Sri Lanka to shoot before 2001, the story of the Taj Mahal treasure, and the Fizz gladly accepted his request. The two salvage sleuths became diving mates and were close friends up until Clarke's passing in 2008 when he was 90 years old. The movie has become a timeless representation of a treasure hunt. How was the video? Do you like it? Post your precious feedback in our comment section below and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.